Before you get started on the mirrors, just go to controls and go to mirrors and turn off all the auto stuff. So auto fold and auto tilt, okay? So just fold mirrors just to start off, okay? Because we're gonna start with here and then we're gonna put another piece over this, okay? And then we also have an inside piece. Just like everything else, we're gonna go ahead and start with cleaning up the mirrors. And we're gonna start with the edges, okay? We're gonna use the little pink tool and you're gonna go under it. So I got all my contamination off, okay? I'm just gonna do that one more time. All right, so now look at this piece right here. It's a pretty straightforward piece, but you want it slightly below the line so that it tucks in underneath as well. And then you also don't want to go past this line right here. You want it right before that because we have another piece that goes around that. And peel this, and you're gonna go ahead and just align it. And this is not necessarily the easiest piece because it's hard to see. Once I was able to get some access, right? Look at this. You want to adjust a little bit underneath, right? And then once you do that, you can go ahead and peel this up. And you are going to be using your squeegee. And you want to go ahead and work your way up. And this is what it'll look like if it's solid. Okay? This is going to be normal, guys. You are going to get some fingers here. You're going to use the hard part. And you're just going to slowly go side to side like this. And notice how I don't get all of them all at once. I get little by little. And this is also a very important step, to be gradual with these fingers. Okay? I actually don't want to stretch any of these, and I want it to be very natural, just the way that it lays. We're going to go ahead and post it real quick, right? I want to use the hard part of the squeegee. And then since I have access right here, I can just go down right here. I'm just going to fold that in so it tucks in. Okay? And there you go. All right, so go ahead and go inside. And same thing on the controls, you can actually unfold mirrors. So if you look here, this is a rectangle, but it doesn't peel all the way, just in the center. And this little thin strip in here is actually thinner and thicker. Once you remove that, that's going to be the canvas that goes on the mirror itself. Before we do that, we have to put something called the Knifeless tape. You're going to put 3 tape. And the way I would do it is 1, 2, 3. So this is number 1. Okay, so I'm going to give myself about 3 inches extra right here so I can pull it. And I'm just going to follow. I'm not like pulling crazy hard. So notice how I laid my Knifeless right here. The pink little strip right here is on the inside, and I used the green line to align it. So there is about, I would say, about a 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter overlap. We're going to lay the second Knifeless tape. So I'm going to follow that line, go right to the edge, go ahead and give yourself the 3 to 4 inches, and then just fold it over. All right, this is the final one, and this one's slightly tricky. This is going to be the first one we're actually going to pull. And all we're going to do is just suspend it down here in the trim right here. Okay? And then we're going to all the way. Give yourself another 3 to 4 inches. Notice how this is actually on the black instead of on the here. We're going to go ahead and make sure the tape is actually secured. And we do that by using some heat and just pushing this down. Now we're finally ready. We're going to wipe it down one more time. Just over here, some dust here and there. Now, let's go ahead and show you how to do this. So the thin side should be the inner part, okay? So I'll show you right here. You're going to go ahead and anchor this corner, okay? And keep in mind, this is matte white, and it is actually probably one of the stiffer materials. And because this angle is going this way, you actually want to pull up and kind of back into this corner right here. And it should look something like this, okay? So now that we have this top right here and this bottom pretty much anchored, and make sure it's a solid anchor, about 1 inch. There's no fingers or wrinkles anywhere here. Then you can pull, and you could do a dry pull You can use heat if you want. And all you're doing is just using that weight and then just going into this corner right here. And if you do it that way, you'll notice that everything will just fall into place. All right, now look at here. There's a little bit of extra material right there. Look what happens when I add heat. It just falls into place, right? And that's what you want. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our squeegee. We're actually gonna squeegee it now for the first time. Honestly, barely need squeegee at this point. And then we're gonna do the same thing up here. There's some loose material over here. Don't need to do much. Just hold it, you're not even pulling much. And without getting into the science of it, the way that vinyl works is it's meant to be stretched, it's meant to go into compound curves. There is a limit to the stretch, but if you stretch it a certain angle, it wants to hug the edges. And that's what we've done. We've stretched it this way, so it's hugging all the edges. The last step here is making sure that it's past the line. And you could feel it, and you could also see it right here. So use some heat on those edges to relax the material a little bit. There you go. So what you want whenever you do this is you want just a little bit, okay? About 2 to 3 millimeter past the line. You don't want it right to it because sometimes it'll pull back just a little bit. One of the number one thing here that I think a lot of people will make mistakes is when they go this route, look at the angle right here. You want to anchor here and pull this way, almost that way. So follow the arrow of this. So go that way. So instead of going this way straight, it'll create a lot of wrinkles right there. You go this way, you flatten it out. Then you use the arrows that I drew right here and then pull it across. And when you do it, you got to pull it across. And you're kind of hooking it into here. Before we cut any knifeless tip, you always want to heat the area. So go ahead and heat the area. Okay, we're good. One other option here is this needs to go down into the valley actually, because that's where my knifeless tape is. I want you to get a very, very small, about like 2 clicks. And all you're doing is just, because this is going to be your first one, you're just going to cut it. Essentially, we've created a path right here for this to go all the way out. You also want to create an exit way over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Let me get this one right here. You're going to go ahead and pull. And once you get here, you're going to get close. You're going to hold it. And you're going to pull all the way out, like so. And you can see I can pull this out. And we're going to get rid of all the green stuff. We have the second one. And we're going to do the same thing. Pull. There we go. I got the second one over here. And then I got a third one that goes from here all the way down here. So let's go ahead and pull this. And go ahead and use some heat. Go ahead and get all the edges. Get it all under here. And there you go. So that's pretty much it. And then lastly, we just have one little piece that goes in the inside. This looks like a little squiggly line. This right here, the shorter end, will actually go right here. And then you see how it folds. What I like to do is, typically you don't have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and open it up for you so you can see a little bit better. And you're going to line it up to the inside right here. Okay? You're not going to line it up from the outside, you're going to line it up from the inside. If you do the inside correctly, it will always line up, okay? So I like just peeling just a little bit at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and pull this out as well. Okay. All right, and now just work your way We'll do a big extended area right here. All right. Okay. So notice how I'm not even worrying about the top. I'm just following the inside line. And that's exactly what you want. And you can just tear it. Okay, so look at this. And then notice how it's like literally right to it. Maybe a little bit of stretch, but very, very little stretch. So once you get to the end, you're just gonna hold it down. Make sure that they're all aligned right here. Okay. You're gonna go ahead and grab this tool and pretty much go all the way around these difficult areas. Once you have this, I like doing there's going to be a high tension right here, and you're going to go ahead and just work your hand into that area like that. It will just want to kind of fold over on its own. All right, so now that you have all of this done, you're going to go ahead and use some heat, especially on the inside and then the outside. Go ahead and run it with this tool one more time to really make sure that all the edges are good. And then